Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Mike, and I am back, guys. It is March Madness Day 28. I know it's technically like the 31st. I got some catching up to do. I'll bring you guys a couple of shows tomorrow, and we will break even. I promise you guys. But right now, we are only on the 28th episode of March Madness. If you guys are new here, you guys can load up your questions in the chat right now, and we are going to get to them as soon as possible. I am joined by my special guest here tonight, my man Duck, my cousin. What's going on, Duck? How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Can't complain. It's been a good night. Let me know. Is the quack too loud when I quack?
Nah, you know what? It's fine. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever.
I got that from y'all. You and our other cousin doing the Aflac back in the day, and I was like, let me modify.
Well, and then there was this comedian that used to say "Shucky Duck Quack Quack," so it was on BET on.
Really? So the cousin I'm referencing sometimes calls me Shucky Duck. I've never known what that was in reference to.
Yes, that's where it came from. Shucky Duck Quack Quack. So
how long ago was that? I'm not that much younger than y'all.
This was in the.
It had 90s. To be early to mid 90s.
It was 90s. Yeah, it was definitely in the 90s. What part of the 90s? I don't know. Don't get me.
That's what I'm saying. It had to be early to mid 90s because by the late 90s, I would have been aware.
Yeah. So it was on BET, and he said Shucky Duck Quack Quack. So. All right, we're going to get to the questions, guys. Again, you guys see it going across the bottom. March Madness, ask anything you want. Does not have to be football related. I'm going to ask a question before I click the first one that's in the chat. It was actually asked earlier today, Duck, and it was directed to you. How does your cousin Duck feel about the Niners getting Sam Darnold?
Y'all can have him.
Wow.
Honestly, so it's nothing against him. So I will say, too, it's probably going to sound crazy. The best, is it insulting to say quarterback coach? The best coach for him that he's ever had has been Steve Wilks in his entire professional career. So y'all hire Wilks. And from what I saw, Darnold wanted to get back to the West Coast, follow Wilks to the Niners. With the Shanahan influence and Wilks in his ear, whatever Wilks got out of him, I'm not mad at it. I'm actually not mad at it. Right. As soon as I saw the signing, my first thought was, Wilks got the most out of him as far as a consistency standpoint,
right?
From any coach he's had in his pro career.
It just made sense.
Yep. All right. And that's a defensive coach. That's why I say, shouldn't say quarterback. Nobody's calling Wilks a quarterback guru or whisperer or anything like that. But
we'll see if any more questions come up about it, and if so, we'll discuss it then. We're gonna get into it though. There's only a couple comments in here, guys. Load up those questions right now, and we'll keep it rocking here. Freddie Gonzalez says, "What's good, Mike? What's your favorite Mexican food?" Wow. I don't know if I have a favorite Mexican food. I don't know. I don't know if I have it. Do you have one, Duck? Do you have a favorite Mexican food?
It's probably got to be as simple as tacos. I make tacos all the time. Sometimes I make taco rice, courtesy of you, putting me on that recipe. But I make tacos fairly often. I'm thinking about making tacos now. I bought some ground turkey earlier today.
I was gonna say tacos, but I felt like that was like a generic.
It's too generic, right?
Right.
And I've been door dashing. I got the menus for two Mexican restaurants that are both within 5 minutes of me. I am dying to try both of them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, we'll see.
Yeah.
Danny Albright says, "Can you do Mexican laugh?" I cannot. I don't even know what that means. It sounds like. Nah, I can't.
You're not calling me racist tonight.
Right. Is it by May 1st the Niners can pick up Brandon Ayuk's 5th-year option? That's $14 million a year. So all NFL teams have the same deadline, and that deadline is as follows. It is 1 week after the draft. Teams have to exercise a 5th-year option. And it actually makes sense, right?
May 1st.
You have a quarterback that can you have a player that you say, you know what, we might lose this guy, he might cost us too much in free agency. Let's see if we can draft his replacement. Oh crap, we couldn't get the replacement in free agency or the draft. Let's exercise the 5th-year option and see if we can negotiate a long-term deal to get him to stay. So it makes sense. But I just found that out. The date is not set like every year. You have to do it by May 1st. It's 1 week after the last day of the draft. So I thought that was pretty cool. That goes for all teams. It says here, Christy, let's go. Hey, Mike. Hey, Duck. All right, Christy, how you doing?
What's up, Christy? How are
Hopefully
you?
you're feeling well. Hopefully you're doing better over there. All right. Prayers up. Prayers up. Favorite comedians. All right, Duck, give me your top 2 favorite comedians.
Cat Williams gotta be in that number. Oh, wait, no. Dang. I was about to say Cat and Dave Chappelle, but I also love Patrice O'Neal.
I know you love Patrice. I knew you were going to say him. I knew you were going to say him.
I don't know. I can't pick. Okay, I gotta say Patrice because he's gone, right? So may he rest in peace. And then I'm gonna go with Dave Chappelle because he stayed relevant where Cat has fallen off.
Well, I'm going to say Cat Williams. I love the way Cat Williams puts together his comedy, and he is great.
That's the thing. He's still good, but he's not what he was. That's why I say he's falling off.
Well, the crowd isn't what they used to be in his thing. And the last special I saw of his, it seemed like he was trying. You ever hear somebody like
he was trying to stay PC, and he even addressed it at one point.
The PC thing, he was trying to set something up, and he kept like rewinding and starting it over. Like he was trying to set up a certain delivery, and just finally gave up on it and just made the delivery the way it came out. I have to explain it while watching it live, but it's weird. But Cat Williams.
But you agree he was trying to stay PC, right?
He was trying. Yes.
Yeah.
You could tell he had a little bit more of a filter. He was a little bit more. But Cat
that's why I say, and it sucks because it's like with this cancel culture, he really had no choice but to do that if he wants to stay even somewhat relevant. But it doesn't hit the way it did 10 years ago.
But he also he threw shots at a couple of different comedians, and he said that if you have to be offensive, if you can't do comedy without being offensive, then you're not a good comedian. So he kind of put his foot in his own mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So now he has to tiptoe that line and not offend anybody, and still stay funny. So it's kind of a catch-22. He's my favorite comedian. He's number 1. Number 2, God, man, I wish I could say Kevin Hart, but he got really, really corny really fast.
He got bad in a hurry. Yeah, corny, bad, whatever you want to say. He didn't. And here's another thing with Kevin Hart. With Cat Williams, we can go back to some of his stuff from 10, 15 years ago. You're still saying it. It's just as funny now as it was then. Kevin Hart's stuff doesn't survive the same way. You know what I mean? Like, if you say some of his punchlines right now, it's just, okay, whatever. Like, it's not as funny as it was in the moment.
Yeah. I'm going to go with him and Robin Harris.
Okay.
I'm going to go with him and Robin Harris. Duck, are we your favorite second team now?
No. I'm sorry. So
that sounds like hate.
It's not hate. It's not, because I do find myself rooting for y'all when y'all aren't playing us. This postseason run, I wanted to see y'all do good. It's a lot easier.
So we are your second favorite team. Stop lying.
You're not my second favorite team.
Steelers, isn't it?
It's always been. This is what's bad because they're in the same division. It's always been between the Steelers and the Ravens. I go back and forth between the two because I love how the two organizations are run. I think both of those just do things right. And if I had to say one or the other, I'd probably say Steelers because that's my dad's team, and I really feel like if he had gotten me into football, I probably would be a Steelers fan.
Got you.
But as far as a second NFC team, it's the Niners.
There you go.
I don't even look at other NFC teams. I don't even consider rooting for other NFC teams.
I think she'll accept that answer. Favorite NFC team, second favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite liquor from Christy. Christy loading them up. I like that. Keep them coming, Christy.
Wow. That's still.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stick with the whiskey, but mine's more of a scotch. And I'm gonna go with Macallan 15 for now.
Yeah, so you can afford fancier stuff than me.
Here we go. There's an 18 that I've yet to try. and I am dying to get at least a shot of the King Louis. I have to try King Louis.
This is Bacardi White. So this is a mojito. It's nothing special.
Hey, look. So Christy asked a question here, and I want to ask you something. So she says y'all smoke, but when someone says, "Do you smoke?" How do you interpret that? What do you think they're asking about?
I don't know anymore.
I always interpret it as
And
people asking, "Do you smoke weed?" That's
right.
how I interpret "Do you smoke?"
But when I was younger, you weren't just coming out and asking if you smoke weed.
Because it was illegal.
So back in the day, if you asked that question, it was cigarettes, which I've never touched a cigarette in my life.
Right. I've had one
And
and never again.
And I'm a lightweight, so I rarely smoke weed because I understand that 2 or 3 pulls gets me nice very quickly.
Right.
And I prefer edibles over smoking anyway. And then there's also like you're smoking hookah now. I haven't had a cigar in a while, but I like them. And as soon as I get a job, I'm getting high as fuck. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be cussing, but I've been waiting to pass a drug test.
Oh my God. I smoke hookah, cigars, and occasionally, when I say occasionally, you can count on one hand how many times a year I actually smoke weed. So those are the only 3 things that I can say I smoke: hookah, cigars, and occasionally the weed. Why isn't Lamar Jackson signed yet? That's our cousin, by the way.
Oh, that is it?
Yes.
Always active in WhatsApp? That cousin?
Yes.
How often he watch you?
I sent them the link tonight.
Okay. So I can tell you why he's not signed by the Panthers. They didn't want to pay him. If you're giving up draft assets, you want the rookie contract, the cost control contract. That was always my opinion. And then they came out and said that there might be other reasons. If we're going to get straight to it, though, collusion is very real, and that's what's clearly happening. You can't convince me the Bucks aren't interested. The Colts right now are 3rd in line out of these quarterbacks, likely to be 4th in line unless they jump up with the Cardinals. There's other teams. I'm not convinced.
My answer is much more simple.
My
answer is much more simple than what Duck says, and it's because the Ravens don't know what to pay him yet, and I don't think he's really available for trade. I know that they said he can go out there and seek a trade offer and all that stuff.
They'll match anything.
Right. So they just want someone to make him an offer so they can say, nope, we're giving it to him.
They will match anything.
Right. Yep. He's not really for trade, and they don't know how to structure his contract.
And that's another thing that's causing the holdup, because if I'm any quarterback needy team, why waste my time negotiating with you and making an offer that they're just going to match? So,
Relax Bro says, is that your cousin? Yes, Duck is my cousin. Niner Troop says, Mike, what advice have you given your son regarding smoking? None, believe it or not. I haven't given any advice on smoke. That sounds like
what grade is he in?
My son is in 8th grade. He's 13. What grade is that?
Yeah, sounds right. 8th grade. I'm asking because how old were you the first time you were offered something to smoke?
I smoked a cigarette when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
The first pull, I choked for about 20 minutes and have never touched one since then. Now, if it was up to me, I would have given my 9-year-old son a pull of a cigar, hope that he choked and never touched it again. That's how I would have done it.
So I'm asking because I think they teach you all. They start teaching that, at least back in the day, elementary school. I was in elementary school when they started that. What was it? What was the thing with the thing across? They had the shirt Dare.
Dare. Yeah.
They started that in elementary school. The first time I was offered something by a classmate, I was in 7th or 8th grade. I think 8th grade. I'm not sure. But yeah, he's about that age. He may have been offered something by now.
Maybe but he doesn't have a lot of extracurriculars, so he goes to school and comes right home. That's the
other. It wasn't extracurricular. I was sitting in science class and at the school.
They were smoking in class. Like, what do you say?
Okay, no, they were smoking in class freshman year of high school. That absolutely happened. But no, a friend that was sitting next to me said, "Hey, here, smoke this when you get home. Enjoy." I didn't take it, but I'm just letting you know I was offered something middle school.
I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, however you choose to spin it.
Hindsight, after having been high countless times at this point, if I had known then what I know now, I would have taken it.
My wife and I often make major decisions like that together. And when I say together, it's usually, hey, this is what I want to do. And one of us says no, and then that's the end of it. So that's why there's been no advice. Christy says here, 80s music or 90s music?
Give me 90s, but I was born in 89. I respect 80s music. I enjoy it, but
no, it's definitely 90s. It's definitely 90s.
Yeah.
Hip hop, R&B, it's definitely 90s. Relax Bro says, ask your cousin if Darnold is a joke. Before he answers this, let me just say this. Okay. Darnold has all the physical traits you want your quarterback to have. All of his problems are upstairs. Mm-hmm. He's got the arm, he's got the mobility, he's got just everything you physically want in a quarterback. It's all mental. It's all about processing. It's all about doing things the right way with Sam Darnold. And I thought that from the time he came into the NFL.
Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, EJ Manuel, need I go on? They can have all the physical tools. We've seen that countless times. Yes, Darnold is a joke.
Well,
he will never be more than a serviceable backup, in my opinion. Spot starter, you have him come in for a few games, you're good to go.
Everybody's a joke until they get into the right system. That's one thing that we don't credit quarterbacks enough with, or attribute their failures to enough.
That's easy to say when Kyle Shanahan designs your system.
It's easy to say for anybody. It's easy to say. Listen, you can't say, other than maybe Tom Brady, right? Like, most quarterbacks don't make the system wherever they go. They go to a system. There's some offensive coordinators that are just bad. They're just bad.
I'll give you that.
Right? Like, I mean, Tom Brady might be the anomaly. He might be the anomaly.
Let me where are all the Darnold? Why? I mean, I know y'all signed him, but what's all the concern? Like,
well,
when I look at the construction of y'all's quarterback room right now, I don't think Darnold's winning that job. No, so are y'all truly concerned that Darnold's going to win that job and choke when it matters, or like what? I'm just curious.
What happened was Trey Lance was drafted high. He's supposed to be the guy. He got injured, and then Brock Purdy stepped in the last half of the year, played really well, went undefeated throughout the regular season, lost in the NFC Championship game. That was an injury, right? So now everyone's like, oh, it's Brock Purdy's job. But Brock Purdy won't be ready during training camp, so now it goes back to Trey Lance's job. Well, Kyle Shanahan just spoke at the owners meeting.
I heard that.
And he said that Sam Darnold will get reps with the starters. So now that has people thinking it's an open competition. So now,
isn't that how he framed? I was under the impression that's how he framed it. That it's a three-way competition.
Well, it can't be three-way because Brock Purdy won't be there. So now
he made it sound like Purdy will be back in time to compete.
No, he said between week 1 and week 4 is what the last thing he said.
But definitely read that wrong.
The concern basically is, could Trey Lance lose this job to Sam Darnold? And that's why people are asking the question right now. So it's all good. Hey, yo, Duck, what's popping?
Not much. We just did another pod. Hope y'all heard it. Chilling.
Mike, have you done any episodes of NBN while zooted? I have never been high on a podcast. I've never even thought about doing that. I've been drunk on an overreaction show. I think I fell asleep one time in a car. I had to pull over and go to sleep on an overreaction show. But that's about it. I have never been high on camera anywhere, actually. So, wow, I've never been high on camera before. That's interesting. All right. We'll do a few more. This is only supposed to be 15 minutes, but we did start late. So we'll let this thing go for another couple of minutes. Christy says here, favorite Adam Sandler movie. Mine is Bulletproof.
That is a good question. And it's crazy because Adam Sandler crosses various eras. Like, You could go to the 90s, thousands, tens. You know what I mean? Because the first thing that came to mind, I think Big Daddy and Waterboy. I enjoy both. I enjoyed Big Daddy way more than I ever should have.
Big Daddy is up there for sure.
Like I enjoyed that way more than I ever should have. Waterboy is fun, but once you realize how stupid it is, like you sort of fall off of it. What was the one where they were doing like the little reunion with I want to say Doug from the show with Carrot from King of Queens. They had that reunion where they were playing basketball and all that.
It's something to do with parents. They were like they were parents. Chris Rock was in it. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. That was another fun one, but that's probably been like 10 years now, but he's had a lot of good movies. He's had a lot of like fun he's also had a lot of dumb ones. Like I didn't enjoy any of the like Billy Madison with the golfing leg. That was just stupid.
Yeah, but I like Mr. Deeds. Mr. Deeds was entertaining, but I'm going to go with Big Daddy. I think Big Daddy was overall my favorite one.
Big Daddy was the first one that jumped to my mind.
Yeah. Ray says here, hey, Mike, what does your cousin think? Who was the greatest Panther of all? Why do you just ask? Why you ask me to ask? All right, who do you think is the greatest Panther of all time? He says Steve Smith.
Cam. Only MVP that we ever had, got us to it, dragged the team to the Super Bowl, dragged us to the playoffs several times with the rest of that roster kicking and screaming. They didn't want to be there. Like his last playoff game with us, I want to say his last game, but Matt Rule is a joke. His last playoff game with us was probably the best game he ever played, and it was like nobody wanted to help him out at all. Like, wow. It's Cam. If you're talking value, it's Smitty, 3rd round pick, but it's Cam.
Favorite Eddie Murphy movie? Mine is Harlem Nights, Norbit, and Life. That's what she said there.
Do I have to go with movies? Do stand-ups count as movies?
I mean, if you like that over movies, then I mean, yeah, go for it.
What was the one in the red spandex?
Oh, that was Raw. I believe that was Raw.
Yeah, Raw. I'm going with Raw.
I think Raw is the one that he wore the red in.
I'm going with Raw.
Damn, this is tough. I like some Eddie Murphy movies that other people probably haven't seen. He has this one called Showtime with Robert De Niro, and I laughed so hard at that movie. It was not. I don't even know if that shit came out in theaters. Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro, right? Like, what a pair. And they play on that awkwardness in the movie. Like, Eddie Murphy is a movie star who wants a reality show being a cop, but he's not. So they just assign him to Robert De Niro, who is like an older, like grizzled vet cop that doesn't want to waste time doing the show. They're making Robert De Niro do the live cameos on camera. So he just sits there like this. I'm not talking to you. Like, it's funny as hell, man. And then they get into some stuff. It was a funny one. That's one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies, but it's like a family-friendly movie. You know what I'm saying? He had this one with what was that one called? Owen Wilson was in it. So
Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson?
God damn it, what was that called? They came out around the same time too. So the one with Robert De Niro was called Showtime. The one with Owen Wilson was called damn, I remember he was feeding Owen Wilson lines to the song Sexual Healing. I Spy. I think it's called I Spy.
I Spy, okay.
Those were fun movies, man. Those were fun movies. Life is a great one also. I like Life also. I can't pick just one, but those would be my 3.
I'm rocking with Raw. Raw was great. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. No, it was phenomenal. Probably an all-time. That's probably a top 5 comedy.
Absolutely.
All time.
Yep.
DJ Malone says here, with that explanation, Mike, why would a quarterback like Colin not work in Kyle's offense? No, I don't think that Colin wouldn't have. I think if you get a competent quarterback here that can play consistently and not get flustered, they'll have success in Kyle Shanahan's system.
I think Colin would have been a beast in Kyle's offense.
There's 3 things that quarterbacks have to have, in my opinion, in Kyle Shanahan's current system. A quick processor and the desire to get rid of the ball on time. That's number one. Number two, trust in the system. Kyle's going to tell you what play to do. You have to look for what he's saying to be there, not what you think is going to be there. And number three, durability. You get those three things, and Kyle Shanahan's going to win games with those guys. That's it. Duck, Darnold is an extra body / emergency quarterback. He says Stroud or Young, and for what reasons?
Stroud. I love everything about Stroud's game. The Panthers have never had that pinpoint passer that I want the ball here. That's where it's going, and that's where it goes when they make up their mind. And I don't trust Young's frame. I don't even trust Young to survive his rookie contract. I think he's going to be so busted up and beaten down. And it's not a height thing, right? Although I am taller than him, which is crazy. But bro, you're playing at 194 at most. Like that combine weight was water weight. Everybody knows it. That's why you didn't weigh in again at your pro day. I don't think he's going to hold up long term. You can draft him and it might be great for a while. I don't think the other thing is he doesn't play great in the pocket. He's got to get outside the pocket to create those throwing lanes. Like, what's the point of the Panthers finally having a good line to have to play a guy that runs outside the pocket to find the throwing lanes? Give me Stroud all day. You got your 10, 15-year guy. I'm with it. I'm with Stroud. Young.
We owe you guys an apology here. Yes, the movie that Adam Sandler was called Grown Ups. You guys are correct. And Delirious is the one in the red suit. Raw was the purple suit. So our apologies. My bad. My bad. All right.
I still think Raw is the one I'm thinking of. I got to go back and watch both of them, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. So listen,
but I
guys.
think Raw is the one I'm thinking of.
That is the end of this episode. I want to thank you all for checking us out. I will be back a couple of times tomorrow to get us to 31. Looks like I have 3 shows that I need to do. Duck, thanks for jumping in here. Anything you want to leave the people with before we get out of here?
I'm just looking at all the questions we left unanswered.
Yeah, it happens.
That hurts. I appreciate y'all rocking with me and welcoming me to this show.
If you want to jump in tomorrow, I'm going to do one on my lunch break tomorrow afternoon. So if you want to jump on, I'll shoot you a text and you're welcome to join.
Let me know what time. Tell the people why you didn't answer my phone call earlier today or yesterday. No, I didn't call you earlier today. I called you yesterday after my interview. What was that about? Where's the love?
What time was that, roughly?
Interview would have ended around 3:40, so it was probably like 3:45, 3:50.
I had just fired somebody, and I was talking to HR.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. You got that.
It was a rough day yesterday.
You got that.
It was pretty bad. Bad.
But, I mean, in fairness, if you would have answered, it would have been a nice little pick-me-up. So you would have been able to feed off of my good energy.
I'm sorry. I mean, we still got some catching up to do, so we'll be able to do it tomorrow.
Fair enough.
Or actually, technically, later today. So listen, I got to go because I got to be to the office at 7. Well, it's my normal time, so it's not a big deal. But
I'm going to finish this drink and play the game.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all tomorrow.